With this upright, we ran into rock, so we really didn't have the ability to dig a deep hole. So what we do is we will lean it against the wall, and later on, when we concrete in the floor, we'll brace it and attach it to the wall and concrete around it so that it stays upright. Once it's concreted in and the roof is on, it'll still hold it in place. You can see this top log has been cut to make the wall level with the walls on both sides of it. So it goes from about half the size down to 3/4. Same with this end wall with the air pipes in it. Um, it's got the lean didn't come out exactly perfect, so we had to cut a log to match it to get it up to the right height and drop it down to the right height on the right hand side, which is lower. This is the method that you use to get the walls all nice and level, as it were, at the top so they match easily. Those are the four air pipes, two 12-inch and two 6-inch, or 8-inch and 6-inch, I think they are. And then we push through a few extra pipes um, just for wires or anything else that might need to go into it. Now we've put in the center uprights on some of the walls here. So there's four big uprights holding back each wall. We leave one wall unfinished so that we can get the concrete in, because we don't want anybody knowing about this thing, so we concrete the floors ourselves, bring it in by wheelbarrow if we have to, and do the floors about 4 inches thick. This is the wall with the air pipes going out the bottom, and that is the unfinished wall that we'll bring the concrete in. We just fold the plastic down and put boards over the top of it and run it in on a ramp. Same thing, we have four air pipes going out of that. We've started putting the center uprights in. That's another end wall which will be sloping. Now, when we do these center uprights, we make sure that we get them nice and straight so that they're straight across from each other. The main purpose for that is so that your uprights will sit perfectly on the two outside logs and the center upright without any problems. You'll notice this one's not very deep. The roof will come out just below ground level, but the intention here is to put about 3 footer deep of dirt over the top of it, so it will actually be buried with a 3 foot mound over the top of it. Now, these two uprights here go on each side of the air pipes so that you've got room for the air pipes to slip in, and they hold the cut logs on each side of the air pipes in place. Same process, you use 2x4s on the two outside uprights, but you don't need them on the two inside uprights because you're not nailing into those to hold the wall up. Now, when you put the center uprights in, just go up top and make sure they're lined up. As you can see looking across, these are all nice and straight with each other because there's going to be a cross member going across on all of these three upright logs. So from up top, make sure looking across you can eyeball it or use a string line to make sure they're nice and straight. You can find that you have the occasional crooked log that will fit nicely if you get one a little bit out of whack. But looking across these, you can see they're all nicely lined up with each other. So the cross member will sit nice and plush on top of all three logs as it goes across. Now we're going to start cutting the tops off of these uprights. And to do so, you get somebody up on top standing there with a plastic rake and just putting a bit of pressure on the top of the log as you cut it off so that it falls inside rather than falling back and maybe falling behind the wall, which would be a major disaster because you'd tear your plastic and you wouldn't be able to get it out. So just a light push on it while you're cutting it with the rake will make sure that it falls inwards. And these are all going to be cut at a slight angle. Before you start cutting them, you take a chalk line and run it across, and that gives you your chalk line. On the outside of the walls, I like to put a lot of gravel. It's a lot of work, but when you do put gravel next to the plastic, then you create a very good drainage system. When you have the end walls and you can't really get the gravel in place to go up the wall like this situation, then you can lay down an extra sheet of plastic, run your gravel down, dump plenty of gravel down to create about 2 foot high wall of gravel there. And then you can grab the plastic and pull it up and wrap it over the wall. And once it's over the wall, you can backfill with dirt and then pull the plastic back, put in the gravel, fold it over the wall, put in more dirt, and slowly build the wall up to where it will have that drainage system. With all of your plumbing and pipes and stuff like that, it's best to bring them in under the wall before you concrete your floor in. This is water coming in. There's a couple of different pipes there. One will be for fuel, one will be for water, and a couple of extra ones for whatever you wish to run from the outside. Like that one will run camera wires, things like that, solar panel wires, anything you need to get inside from the outside. So it's best rather than coming in through the roof, you can come in through the air pipes with a lot of extra wires, but I like to put the plumbing under the walls in the floor. Now this is a log showing one of the ones we've cut in half. When you do this, I like to use a skill saw, a 9-inch blade on it. So it's one of the bigger skill saws. And we use chalk lines a lot on this job. So you could measure from the high end to the low end precisely how much you want in thickness, and then use your chalk line and snap the line on the log itself so that you have a line to follow cutting it. This one's starting to come together. We're getting close to putting the roof on because it does have a slant to the left. All the water will go that way, and that's where our main ditch is for the drainage system. This one is 12 feet wide, so quite a bit of room in there for whatever you need. We've got all the logs trimmed on one side to the right height. We still have to do the uprights on the right. And then once we do that, then we start to use a chalk line to work out our center uprights where they get cut after we notch the logs to hold the cross members. So here's the chalk line being used. We go from the top of the wall and we snap it, and that gives us the right angle for these uprights to be cut. Now we measure the width of the upright and we mark off where it is in the middle and put a line across, because that's where we will be cutting our notch to hold the cross member.